The teachings of Rabbi Ephraim Sprecher, Dean of Students at Diaspora Yeshiva on Mount Zion, Jerusalem.
Today we're speaking about making an early Shabbos. Can I be a Shabbos goy for an early Shabbos guy? But before we get to making an early Shabbos, what is Shabbos all about? Why is there Shabbos? Now, we know there are 39 malachot on Shabbos that you can't do. And the only one that's written with farish in the Torah is Lo Tovaru Eish B'chol Moshvatechem. The other 38 are only in the oral Torah. Ma nishtana hadlokat eish mishar lametet malachot. Lo Tovaru Eish, do not light a fire on Shabbos. That's singled out from all the other 39 malachos. The other 39 malachos are only found in Torah Shabbat Peh, in the Mishnah Shabbos. Why is lighting candles the only one of the 39 that's mentioned in the Chumash? Why? You can't write either. You can't cook either. So why not list that in the Torah, in the written Torah? What's so special about lighting a fire? That's the only one of the 39 malachos that is listed in Farish in the Chumash. And the others are in the Mishnah. On Motzei Shabbat, we make a bracha, Bore Moro Heish. Right? When we make Havdalah, we make a bracha, God, Bore Moro Heish. But God does everything else too. Why single out God created fire on Motzei Shabbat? The key to the entire creation is contained in the creation of fire. You see. The entire creation process is contained in fire and heat. That includes everything, Alfie. Why? Only when you create heat, then you make science and technology possible. Without fire and heat, there's no science and no technology. On Shabbos, God commands us to return the key to creation to Him. What's the key to creation? Light my fire. So therefore, it's the only one singled out in the Chumash. Bor Elokim Lasot. God created the universe unfinished for us to what? Lasot, to finish it. So the physical creation process during the 6 days of creation, we have to complete. But on Shabbat, God says time out. Remember the Shabbos. Remember that what? We are only His junior partners. He's the only senior partner. Shabbos reminds us that God is the senior partner. We're only junior partners. On Shabbat, we must focus on rejuvenating the godly soul. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat. The Torah tells us in Parshas Kisisa, you shall make the Shabbat. How do you make the Shabbat? How can one make the Shabbat? Doesn't Shabbos come in automatically? How can God commands us in Parshas Kisisa, Lasot et ha-Shabbat? Chanoch, how do you make the Shabbos? Doesn't Shabbos, it says Lasot. Doesn't say recognize, it says to make it. Shabbos comes in automatically whether you make it or not. How can you make the Shabbat?
Prepare for it.
We must utilize the Shabbat to grow spiritually, to recreate ourselves spiritually. On Shabbat, there's no physical creation. That's forbidden, Alfie. But on Shabbat, instead of physical creation that we do the rest of the week, on Shabbos we have to what? We have to rejuvenate ourselves. Rejuvenate. Shabbos is all about creating ourselves spiritually. With the neshama yetera. Isn't that amazing? Therefore, 1 hour of learning on Shabbat is like 1,000 hours on Wednesday. Shabbat is all about creating ourselves spiritually. The rest of the week is about creating physically. Shabbat, physical creation is forbidden. To focus on creating what? Ourselves. On Shabbat, we have to climb the soul ladder. Shabbat, we focus, David, I'm a soul man. Now let's take a look at our sheets. Early Shabbat. Must a wife follow her husband or vice versa? Or can I be a Shabbos goy if an early Shabbos guy? A guy made Shabbos early, Billah. I make Shabbos late. You made Shabbos. Can you call me to do malacha for you?
It doesn't sound...
Doesn't sound so kosher, right, Daniel?
No.
Daniel, you took Shabbos early.
No.
Can you call out the window, hey, Rabbi Sprecher, please turn on the stove for me?
No,
Yes, you can.
Can I do that, David?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right, but why?
Because it really isn't Shabbat yet.
But it is.
But for the person who declared it, yes.
Okay, let's
But
take a
not-
look.
but-
Let's take a look over here. Look at source number one. Number one.
Only two.
Shulchan Aruch Arachayim. Afa pi shelo hitpalel kol adayin. The congregation didn't daven yet the Friday night davening. Im kodam hayochid dispalo Shabbos bod yom. An individual didn't have an early minyan in his town, only a late minyan. But he was hungry. He couldn't wait to eat the chopped liver Friday night. So what did he do? Billah, no winky dinky. He davened himself. He couldn't. I'm telling you, I couldn't make this up. I didn't know. I know, but I didn't know. Talk about Billah Kawinky Dinky. There ain't no such thing. Yuda, hello. It's amazing how Alfie, the big boss, you want to make an early Shabbos, but in your neighborhood, Nebuch, there isn't an early Shabbos, and you don't want to eat the chopped liver at 10 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
So if you daven, Yochid, Mibod Yom, for you it's Shabbos already. Even though nobody else davened, you can take Shabbos early, the Yochid, Yehuda. You have to show this to Yolanda. Please take it home. Tell her no coinky dinkies. What? Shabbos, Yochid can daven, taking Shabbos early, even though the whole neighborhood is waiting for what? For regular Shabbos. For you it's already Shabbos, and you cannot do malacha. Even if you say you don't want to accept the Shabbos, if you daven l'chuna ranena l'Hashem, and you sing l'chudodi, even though it's not Shabbos yet, for you it's Shabbos. And you can't do malacha. You hear? Even though you're an individual. Interesting. Even though you say you don't want to accept Shabbos. Too bad. You daven Kabbalah Shabbos, it's Shabbos. Alf, you have a question. A guy davened Kabbalah Shabbos early. Then he remembered he did not put on tefillin today. David, you getting this? He davened Shabbos early. Then he said, gee, you know, I didn't put on tefillin today, and it's still daylight, because he davened at 6 o'clock. For him, it's Shabbos already. Are you allowed to put on Shabbos on tefillin on Shabbos? No. Baal Tosef.
No.
Banish, you had a problem over here. He already davened Shabbos. But it's still daylight. You have to put on tefillin while it's daylight, and he forgot he didn't. So, does he put on tefillin or not?
No.
The answer is, as long as it's still daylight, he should put on tefillin.
Wow.
Because accepting Shabbos early is only the Rabbanan. Putting on tefillin, Daniel, is Minat Torah. So even though you accepted Shabbos early, but it's really not Shabbos yet. So the rabbis say for you it's Shabbos. That's fine and good. But if you didn't put on tefillin yet, tefillin is a Minat Torah. So therefore, as long as it's still daylight, you should put on tefillin, even though you already accepted Shabbos. Because accepting Shabbos early is the Rabbanan, tefillin is the Doraita. Okay? Interesting. Let's look at the next source here. Source number one, the next paragraph. Imrov hakol kiblu aleim Shabbat. So let's say there's the only game in town is an early Shabbos minyan. And you don't want to have an early Shabbos minyan, but that's the only minyan in town. Hamiyut timshoch achreim al karcham. So if you have a late minyan, fine. But if not, and the only minyan in town accepted Shabbos early, you have to what? Go after them if you cannot find a later minyan. So for you it's Shabbos, even though you don't want to do it so early. Okay? Interesting. Look at source number
If you
one.
wanted to daven yourself later, it would still work better. It would still be Shabbos.
Yeah, it says Imrov. Look, it's Imrov Hakol. Number 1, second line. Imrov Hakol Kibul Leim Shabbat. The majority accepted Shabbat, and there's only an early Shabbos minyan in town.
One shul town.
One shul town, not a one-horse town, a one shul town, Alfie. The miut, what does the miut mean? The minority who can't find a later minyan, they must be what? Following the early Shabbos guys. Okay?
Or what if he doesn't want to go to shul, he could daven at home, but it would still be.
It's Shabbos for him, because there's no late minyan. Next paragraph. Odom Shabbat Li'er B'Erev Shabbat. A person comes to a town, it's Erev Shabbat. The crowd kiblu anshe ir Shabbos, and he found that the whole city already made Shabbos early. Afapi shadayin hayom gadol, even though the day is still what? Long. Im hoya olav moist, if he has money on him, or shim chayfetz, he has to throw it away, even though it's not Shabbos yet. And the only minyan in town accepted an early Shabbos, there is no late minyan, then Shabbos hits him as well. If he's carrying money, he has to hide it somewhere. Source number 2. In Biyoim Unan. Alfie, in those days they had no watches. So how would they tell when it's Shabbos or not? Sundown, right? Follow the sun, the moving of the sun. Let's say it was a cloudy day. Alfie, you don't have a paper? Number 2. In Biyoim Unan. It's a cloudy day. You hear this, Chava? Tohu Tzibur. It's a cloudy day, and the Tzibur made a mistake, and they thought that what? It's dark, it's Shabbos.
They lit the candle.
Vidliki Nerot, they Mispalo Tfilat Arvit, right? Because it looked dark. Cloudy day, had no watches. So they lit the Neros, they davened Shabbos, Kabbalah Shabbos, V'achakach, Nispaza Avim, and then all of a sudden, what happened, Alfie? The clouds blew away and the sun came out. V'zorcha chama. Now, what do we do now? Ein tzorich, source number 2, Yehuda. Ein tzorich lachzor, you don't have to daven Mariv again. You don't. Im keshpalalu hoyim plaga mincha mala. If you daven Mariv plaga mincha mala, then you davened, even though you made a mistake, the clouds covered the sun came out, you don't have to daven again, but you have to read Shema again. But you don't have to daven Mariv again.
As long as after plug mincha.
As long as after plaga mincha. V'im yochid hu shetov, this is the whole city did it. Then you don't have to daven again. Let's say an individual made a mistake, and he davened Kabbalah Shabbos too early. Sorech lachzor v'lespalot tfilat arvit. He has to daven again.
Why can't he just assume he took on Shabbos?
Huh.
So it was after plug.
Why? Good question. V'im yochid hi shetov b'kach. Because he wanted to do a late Shabbos. He thought it's dark. And then
Just because it was ta'ud,
it's a ta'ut. It was a mistake. He accepted Shabbos but ta'ut because he thought it's a late Shabbos. Tzorech lachzor, so he has to daven again. V'inyan nesiyas malacha,
on purpose.
right? V'inyan nesiyas malacha. What about doing malacha? You daven too early because you thought it's a cloudy day. You thought it's already Shabbos, and then the sun came out. You daven Shabbos. What about doing malacha now? Bein sibor, bein yochid metorim. You hear this? Whether you're an individual or whether you're a yochid, you're permitted to what? Do malacha. You accepted Shabbos. To Kabbalah Shabbos b'ta'ut. You didn't want to make an early Shabbos, then you can't do malacha. You thought it's a late Shabbos because Alfie, a very cloudy day. So you, and then the clouds dissipated, is that the right word? And the sun came out. You're allowed to do malacha even though you davened Shabbos already. Why? Because you accepted Shabbos, chanoch b'to'ut. How do you say that in English? By mistake.
So it proves that you have to accept Shabbos early on purpose.
On purpose. On purpose. Kabbalah Shabbos b'to'ut. V'yesh ha'imrim, and others say, says Shulchan Aruch, sha'otam shadliku nerot, those people that what? That lit the candles, osa b'malacha. V'sharan shebayis mitorin. So some say that if you lit your candles early, even by mistake. If the lady lit the candles, she's also a malacha, because she accepted Shabbos even by mistake, but once lighting the candles, and the rest of the people in the house can do malacha. The Yesharmim she'oso ner she'hudlik l'shem Shabbos oso ligabo, and to add oil.
You really have to light it.
Because the lady of the house lit the candles, even though she was mistakenly thought it's Shabbos, even though it's not. For her, it's Shabbos, and the rest of the people, they can still do malacha.
What's it mean her lighting candles?
Because she's the one that lit the candles. The one that lights the candles, we assume, accepts Shabbos upon herself consciously.
But do they have to light?
But she made
The lady lit. She lit already.
No,
So.
the men.
No, lady lights, not the man. The lady. If you're married, the wife lights, not the man.
Yeah.
If you ain't married, the husband.
She lit by mistake.
She lit by mistake. That counts. The lady of the house lit. Source number 2. She cannot do malacha, but the rest of the house can.
Because they're not accepting Shabbos early.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But do they light?
No, the lady of the house lit. She's yotze everybody. If you ain't married, then the husband should do it. Or if you're living alone, 2 men, or a man alone, he should light. But if you're married, who does the mitzvah of lighting the candles, Billah? Why? You light up my life. You gotta sing it to your wife. You light up my life. You give me hope, right? Right, Daniel? Doesn't your wife light up your life? So therefore, she's the one that lights the candles. Now, lighting candles on Friday night, Rambam says is a twofer. Chava, Jews love bargains. The Rambam says lighting candles is Kovid Shabbos and Onik Shabbos. Buy one, Daniel get 2. The Rambam in chapter 30, Hilchos Shabbos, says that Hadlokos Haneros Chava is a twofer. There are 2 mitzvahs in Shabbos. There are 4 mitzvahs in Shabbos. There's Zochor V'Shomor, making Kiddush and observing the Shabbos, not doing the 39, that's Minat Torah. And there's Oinig V'Shabbos the Rabbanon. So there are 4 mitzvahs in Shabbos, Alfie. Zochor means making Kiddush and Havdalah. That's a Torah mitzvah. What does Shomor mean? Do not tear toilet paper or flick a bick. Observe the Shabbos but not desecrating it. And there's Kovid Shabbos and Onik Shabbos. Those 2 are what? Rabbinic. So on Shabbos you have 2 Torah mitzvahs, Zochor v'Shomor, and you have 2 rabbinic mitzvahs, Kovid v'Onik. How do they differ, Alfie? I'm glad you asked. Anything that you do on Friday or Thursday night in honor of the Shabbos, that's called what? Kovid Shabbos. Anything that you do on Shabbos for pleasure is called what? Oneg. Says the Rambam, lighting candles is a twofer. When do you light the candles? Before Shabbos. Before Shabbos you light the candles. Once it's Shabbos it's too late. Chas v'shalom. So lighting candles before Shabbos, that's Kovid Shabbos. But you're enjoying the candlelight dinner when? On Shabbos. That's Oneg. So you have to, Billah, next time you light candles, try to have in mind, I'm going to do a twofer. Mitzvah Tzrichas Kavanah. Chava, do you have in mind? Twofer? Twofer. You're lighting before Shabbos. That's Kovid. But you're enjoying the candlelight dinner on Shabbos. Lillian, that's Oneg. Buy 1, get 2. Right? Mitzvah Tzrichas Kavanah. There's so many mitzvahs out there, we don't even realize. Shalom. Next time you cross at the green, not in between, which mitzvah are you doing? In Pashas Vet Chanan, there's 630 mitzvahs in the Torah. There's only one chava that says you have to do it very much. Doesn't say keep kosher very much. Doesn't say put on tefillin very much. Doesn't say blow a shofar very much. Doesn't say shake a lulav very much. Just do it. The only mitzvah says do it very much is what, Daniel? Ushmor nafshecha ma'od. Rambam, counts that as a mitzvah. In Pashas Chanan, you shall guard your health very much. The only one of the 613, Alfie, that you have to do very much is what? Guard your health. So every time you cross at the green and not in between, what mitzvah are you doing? Ushmor nafshecha ma'od. Every time you buckle your seatbelt in the car, which mitzvah are you doing? Ushmor nafshecha ma'od. But you gotta focus and think. Chanoch, are you with me? There's so many mitzvahs on the street that you have to focus on. A lady goes to the mikvah when she has to go. If she thinks she's in a Jack LaLanne jacuzzi, she doesn't know she's in a mikvah, and she comes out dripping wet, she's still tamei. She's all wet. Chava, she's all wet. Literally, Maimonides rules that she's still tamei because she thought she's in a Jack LaLanne jacuzzi. Therefore, the rabbis came up with birchat ha-mitzvot. When the lady's in the mikvah, she makes a bracha. Realize she's not in a jacuzzi. To help us. Therefore, the rabbis invented birchat ha-mitzvahs. Know what you're doing. You're putting on black boxes. What are you doing? You're shaking a lemon with a bush. So you make a bracha, Rachmiel. It helps you have kavanah. Otherwise, what are you doing? You can be all wet and still be all wet. So there's so many mitzvahs out there, Alfie, if we only want focus. Focus. Wow. Next time you cross at the green, Alfie, not in between, you're doing a mitzvah, shmor nafshecha ma'od. Next time you go to the doctor or eat healthy, you're doing a mitzvah, shmor nafshecha ma'od. So says the great Maimonides. And it's the only mitzvah, Yael, where it says ma'od. How do you say ma'od in French? Baku.
Beaucoup, right?
Merci beaucoup. Right? Think of it. Does it say blow the shofar very much? Just blow it.
Just 101.
Just blow it. Okay, now, can I be a Shabbos goy for the early Shabbos guy? Right, Billah? You made Shabbos early, I made late. Can you holler, please come over and turn on my stove?
Would it be just like with a goy? You'd have to.
Isn't it Morris Tiayin?
Can't you hint it? You have to hint it.
Do you have to hint to me, or could you just tell me, please turn on the heat for me? I'm too cold.
What's the difference between
There's
goy?
another question that comes with that.
Go ahead.
We had neighbors upstairs in Ramat Eshkol, Selange Yor, with my late husband, and he was a rabbi.
Okay.
He was in the Pusik. But upstairs there were a young couple that were Haredi, and they would come down on Shabbos because we were Kippah Suga and ask us to open the wine, the drink on Shabbos, because they don't do it.
They made it early Shabbos?
No,
that's a different question.
no.
She was saying that they didn't open on
They
Shabbos.
didn't open Shabbat. So
Now you have
So,
Bilha, God bless your soul.
amen, amen.
God bless your soul.
Everyone.
Bilha's taking me back to 1965
Okay.
in Torah Vodaas camp.
Huh?
Ooh, Bilha, you're taking me back.
Look, everything.
Hagila already.
Where was I? Suda Shlishit. I was 15. Suda Shlishit. Hundreds of boys are sitting in the dining room. And in those days, I don't know if you remember, they had little cartons of milk, little milk containers, little ones.
Little tiny.
Come on, little tiny milk. J&J.
We didn't have.
You didn't have the
Israel.
little paper
Not
container.
in Israel.
Oh, 1965. So they're handing out these milk containers, right? Late summer, in Suda Shlishis in the camp, Torah Vodaas. Rav Yaakov Kanetsky, Zechat Tzaddik Livracha, is spending Shabbos with us. You're sitting down, right? You're sitting down? They give out these milk containers. So one of the boys said, Rabbi Yaakov, Reb Moshe Feinstein says, you're not allowed to rip open the milk container on Shabbos. Rabbi Yaakov takes the milk container and he says, You mean like this?
Maybe sure I understand you.
Should I say it again?
Yeah,
They said, Rabbi Moshe Paskin, you're not allowed to rip open a milk container on Shabbos. Hundreds of boys there. Rabbi Yaakov takes the milk container and he goes, you mean like this?
So basically.
So there's a machlokis between Rabbi Moshe and Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. What are you allowed to? He's my Rebbe, my Rosh Yeshiva, so I follow him. According to Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, there's no problem opening a milk container or a wine bottle. There's no problem opening it on Shabbos. Rabbi Moshe disagrees. So whatever you do, Shalom, you want? In one corner, the great Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky is telling a bracha. Now they call Rabbi Moshe. Who's right?
Stay away
The both,
from
you have to,
okay.
Asay l'chorav, Chava, Asay l'chorav. The Mishnah says, Asay l'chorav. My Rav was my Rosh Yeshiva.
But I felt it was not.
No, maybe they follow Reb Moshe, and they figured you follow Reb Yaakov Kamenetsky.
And
that's
so,
the point.
That's it. No, Billah, be done the kafschus.
okay.
Right? They follow Reb Moshe, and you follow Reb Yaakov. But Asay l'chorav, you have to make yourself a Rebbe. So, nothing wrong, Billah. Nothing wrong. Okay? So look at source number 3. Number 3, Alfie, number 3. Yes, Shaman. Mi shekibel olav Shabbos koidim shechashecha. Right? Billah and Daniel accepted, and Yehuda accepted Shabbos early. I didn't. Mutar loymeli Yisrael chaveroi. So you guys can call me. You can't use the phone. You have to holler. Hello? Mutar loymeli Yisrael chavero. You're allowed to tell your Jewish friend, Lasos loy malacha. And you don't have to hint, Alfie. I can be Daniel, your Shabbos guy. Isn't that good to know? Why? Good question. Because I didn't accept Shabbos yet. Muta loymel Yisrael chavero. You have it, number 3. You can tell your Jewish friend that did not accept Shabbos early, Lasos malacha. Not a problem, Yehuda. Number 3. No, Goy you have to hint when it's really Shabbos. It's not Shabbos yet. I didn't accept Shabbos yet. To a Goy you have to hint only if it's really on Shabbos. This is not really Shabbos.
But if it's early Shabbos, you
It's early Shabbos, but it's not early Shabbos for me.
for the goy, you don't have
If you can do it to a Jew, you can certainly do it to a Goy. Right? We're talking if it's not really Shabbos. The Chidush is even you can tell a Jew to be a Shabbos Goy. If it's not really Shabbos yet.
It's not really Shabbos. That's what
Muta loymel Yisrael chavero. Lasas malacha. Hagar, the Ramah adds. Number 3, umutar lahanis ma'ota malacha. And you're allowed to have no problem. You can have a no from that malacha on Shabbos. We added a couple of weeks ago. We accepted Shabbos and we asked a lady to press the button for us in the elevator. From lady, no problem. It wasn't Shabbos yet. For us it was because we davened, right?
Okay.
The lady didn't daven, so she pressed the elevator for us. Not a problem. Okay? Because Motzei Shabbos. Misham achas pala Motzei Shabbos. Now, another case, number 3. Someone davened, the Hasidim daven very late Shabbos night. They don't make Havdalah until Tuesday. The Amshanova. The Amshanova made Havdalah Monday night. Not a joke, Alfie. Monday night they made Havdalah. Listen to this. Guy, the Rebbes, they make a very late Shalashudas. Like 11 o'clock at night, Motzei Shabbos. So it's really not Shabbos no more, but for the Rebbe and the Hasidim it's what? Still Shabbos. Muta loymel lechavera Yisrael. The Hasidic Rebbe can tell what? His Jewish friend, who already davened Ma'ariv and made Havdalah, to do malacha for him. Because me, it's not Shabbos no more. It's after Rabbeinu Tam's man, I made Havdalah. The Hasidim didn't, so the Hasidim can call me, not on the phone. They can holler, hey, Rabbi Sprecher, come do malacha for me. Lahadid lo yaneros, turn on the light, cook for me, and you'll have to have a no. Why? Because it's not Shabbos no more. For them it still is, because what? They didn't get out of it yet. They make Havdalah, but since I made Havdalah, so therefore I can what? do malacha for them, and not a problem. Okay? Now, can a lady light candles on Shabbos? Even if she makes a light Shabbos, she still has 20 minutes. In Jerusalem, it's up to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Even a late Shabbos.
Yes, sir.
Can she take a taxi to the kotel? She lit candles,
Yes, she can.
right? Can she take a taxi to the kotel? It depends.
If she
1
says
minute.
If she says before.
Beautiful, Bilal. She has to make a verbal statement.
Exactly.
I'm lighting candles, but I'm not accepting Shabbos. So then she can take a taxi to the kotel or do malacha. If she doesn't say anything, she's stuck. She doesn't say anything, she's stuck. The lady of the house, because normally we assume that when the lady of the house lights candles, for her it's Shabbos already, but the rest of the family is not Shabbos yet. They don't have to say anything. But the lighter of the candles, whether it's a man or a woman, the lighter of the candles, for him it's Shabbos, or for her it's Shabbos, unless she makes a verbal statement, I'm lighting the candles, but I'm not accepting Shabbos yet. If she verbalizes that, then she can still do malacha 20 minutes, or in Jerusalem up to 40 minutes. Interesting, right? Now, number 5, if the husband wants to make an early Shabbos, Yehuda, and the wife doesn't, do they have to be on the same page? No. Number 5. Sholem, you have number 5? Okay. Rabbi, let's see what the great Moshe Feinstein says. Number 5. Igros Moshe. Hine. What does Hine mean? Wow. Hine means wow. What? Keshahabal kibul olav Shabbat yom. The husband likes to make an early Shabbos. He can't wait to have his chopped liver and gefilte fish, not together. The imisha, and the woman says, no, I don't want to make an early Shabbos, that's too much for me to do. Does she have to follow hubby? Let's see what the great man says. Ima isha nami yasur malacha. Does the woman also have to accept Shabbos against her will and not do malacha? L'chara pashut. What does the great man say, Yehuda? It's pashut. What does pashut mean? Obvious. What's the next word? She'eino negreres achrav. The wife does not have to follow hubby. Does not have to follow hubby.
How do we get the chopped liver?
Oh, she'eino negreres achrav. Says the great Moshe, she does not have to follow him. What do you want to pressure her for?
Exactly.
Right? She has so much to do. What do you want to pressure her for?
And if you do pressure her, you may not get your chopped liver
And gefilte fish.
gefilte fish.
The kamo, well, how do we know that he cannot force her to make an early Shabbos with him? How does the great man know, Yehuda? The kamo she'ena yochel achayva b'nedarim shenadar afi migdar milsa. Just like the husband cannot force his wife to make a neder against her will. Va'af be'oma be'peirush, even if he says what? Specifically. Shafit osav t'chayib. My wife, I'm asking you. You must make an early Shabbos. I command you, you must make an early Shabbos. Kamo kain eino yochol. The great man says, women's live in the early 1960s. But he wrote his tshuva, Kamo kain eino yochol. He is not able to asher malacha. No, she don't have to listen to him. Bidin toisa Shabbos, no. Loirak b'stama, not even b'stama. What does stama mean? Stam el af b'feirush. Even if he says to her b'feirush, hu mekabel Shabbos, I'm accepting Shabbos, sweetheart, and I force you to do it. Gam la'osad ishtoi, and he says, my wife, I forbid you to do malacha now. Einoi klum. How do you say that in English?
That's
It's nothing.
I thought Ralph Cramden said he was the master of the house.
Ralph Cramden said, I am king in my castle. You are peasant. This is the day of the honeymooners, by the way. He wrote this tshuva. When he wrote the tshuva, it was the honeymooners' time.
Rabbi,
Einoi klum.
Rabbi, to me,
The great Moshe says, women's liberation.
to me it sounds abuse.
What an
Just
abuse?
to even, the husband should say,
It's like Einoi Klum. It's like he said nothing.
Exactly.
Einoi Klum.
He said that.
What did he say?
I didn't say anything. I would never repeat it.
Okay.
Af shekabolos, let's go on with the tshuva. Shekabolos Shabbos eino midin neder. It's not a neder, right? He cannot make her, force her to take early Shabbos. Al zeh lav neder. El esher toises Shabbos. Anyway, what does the great man say? That what? That the husband accepts the Shabbos midin toisvos, and therefore he cannot force his wife to accept early Shabbos. He cannot.
Especially when she's got such a lot to do.
Right? He is not able to obligate his wife to accept Shabbos early. So each one, Daniel, does their own thing. Remember that? Do your own thing. Right? The husband can do an early Shabbos, the wife can do a late Shabbos, and what? Everybody's happy. Right? So the great Moshe Feinstein, in the Igros Moshe, now remember, when you light candles, you still have 18 to 20 minutes time to do malacha. Jerusalem, you have more, but the rest of the world, you have between 18 and 20 minutes.
Right. Until sunset.
Right? So there's an amazing tshuva, Igros Moshe. One Matzah Shabbos, he lived on FDR Drive in the city projects. One Matzah Shabbos, an old lady in his building called him up, said, Moshe, you almost gave me a heart attack. I lit the candles, I looked out the window, and I saw you getting into a car on Shabbos. Rebbe, what are you doing? I lit the candles, and you're Mimachala Shabbos, Rebbe? You're getting into a car? He could have said to the lady, you questioning me, I'm the greatest rabbi in the world, take a pill and lie down. But he didn't say that. Lily, the great rabbi, he immortalized her, he put her in Igros Moshe. There's a whole tshuva, he wrote this great, my dear lady, you should know that you accept Shabbos, there's 18 to 20 minutes afterwards. Even though my wife also lit the candles, but you should know that Shabbos doesn't come in until 20 minutes later. So I am not obligated that my wife or you accepted Shabbos. For you it's Shabbos, but there's still 20 minutes to go. So it's not Chilul Shabbos. It explains to her that it's not Marasayan, because everybody knows there's 18 to 20 minutes leeway. Everybody knows. Except this lady, the old lady, the FDR Drive. But the whole world knows that there's still 18 minutes after lighting in New York. It's not Shabbos yet. The whole world knows. So it's not even what? Marasayan. But my dear lady, I'm not going to do it no more.
Oh.
This great tzaddik says, I'm not going to do it anymore.
That's too beautiful.
Since it upsets you, I won't do it anymore. Even though it's mutter and it's legal, there's no marasayan.
That's a tzaddik.
That's a tzaddik for you. To immortalize her. She's there forever. She's long dead. So is he. But she's forever. Igros Moshe. With her name immortalized. What a tzaddik.
Beautiful.
Talk about tzaddikim. Reminds me of a story, a true story. Rav Gusman, Zecher Tzaddik Levracha, the great tzaddik in Netzach Yisrael. So constantly he was doing chesed and learning, never took a break, learning chesed. Once a week a guy would come in to the yeshiva, go up to him and bend his ear, speak about politics, business propositions, and the Rebbe would say, yeah. Talmidim was shocked. Every minute of this holy rabbi is what? He's either doing chesed or learning Torah. He doesn't waste a minute. How come he lets this guy come in once a week?
Maybe it's Hesed.
What?
It's Hesed.
They asked him, Rebbe, what's going on over here? He says, listen, the great Rebbe said, Zeh nene v'zeh lo chosar. When he's talking to me, where's my mind? And the Tosfos, and the Rasha, and the Rambam. That's what my mind is.
He just wants him to look like
I keep saying, yeah. He has hana, that he has someone to what? To unburden himself.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's loy chaser. It doesn't take nothing away from me. Why shouldn't I give him that hana? This great tzaddik. That's a tzaddik. Another guy said, "What are you wasting my time? Don't you know who I am? I'm the biggest Rosh Yeshiva in the world. Get out of here." But the great tzaddik shmeicheld and he said, yeah. And the Talmidim are shocked. So afterwards he said, listen, this guy, he's lonely. Right? So he has a know that he's talking to me. I'm not lacking anything because where's my mind?
Right
On the Rambam, on the Teisvis. I'm just saying, yeah. He has a hana, and it's not taking any away from me. Why shouldn't I give him the hana?
That is so beautiful, so right.
That's a tzaddik for you.
Right.
That's a tzaddik for you.
Reminds me of
Tzaddikim. Famous story, Rabbi Yitzchak Berditchev. This old guy, he's dying, he's on his deathbed and he's dying. And he's crying terribly. He wants to see Rabbi Yitzchak, so he comes to visit him. He says, Rebbe, I'm very scared. I'm scared. I did a lot of Averis. I'm scared I'm going to go to Gehenna. And he can't, he's hysterical. He can't stop crying. So what did the Rabbi Yitzchak say to him? If you stop crying and cheer up, I'm going to give you my olam haba. If you stop crying and not afraid, you're about to die, I'm giving my olam haba. The man stopped crying. He died with a smile on his face. So the Hasidim said, Rebbe, you're giving your olam haba away to this guy? You know what he said? To make a Jew happy and calm him down before he dies is more important than olam haba.
Sure, he wasn't giving anything away.
You would have gave the answer. You think he gave it away?
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Of course.
But he calmed another Jew down and he made him happy and he should be afraid of death. He said that's worth more than olam haba. Like Yehuda said, he didn't give nothing away. The gesture, that's a real tzaddik for you.
So what kind of olam haba did he get?
Who?
The man who died.
Well,
That's what he got in this.
tzaddik goes there, Kodesh Baruch Hu Mekayim. You know that, Chava. A tzaddik decrees and what?
And it happens.
So Rabbi Yitzchak said, this guy must have olam haba.
That's it.
God says, listen, I got it. Tzaddik decrees and what?
You have to have olam haba.
That's right. Tzaddik goes there, Kodesh Baruch Hu Mekayim. He gets his olam haba. That's right. The great Rabbi Yitzchak decreed, and right, the great Rabbi Yitzchak Berditchev.
That is so beautiful.
You know, he would take God to a din Torah, and don't try this at home. And the Jews were suffering so much, he took God to a din Torah. You hear this? Famous story. God, what are you doing to your people? Mi ka'amcha Yisrael. Right? Great tzaddik, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak. The famous story, Shiva Asar Tammuz is coming up, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks from today. So one Shiva Asar Tammuz, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak sees a guy, a Jew, eating in the street. He says, listen, don't you know today's Shiva Asar Tammuz? Maybe you forgot, right? He says, no, I didn't forget. I know Shiva Asar Tammuz. You know, maybe you don't know that eating and drinking is forbidden. No, I know you're not allowed to eat Shiva Asar Tammuz. No Shiva Asar Tammuz. I'm eating anyway. So he turns to Hashem and says, Hashem, Mi kamcha, look how honest he is. He could have lied to me. I forgot the Shiva Asar Tammuz. I didn't know you're not allowed to eat. But he's so honest. Mi kamcha Yisrael. That's a tzaddik. He's honest. He doesn't want to lie. Another famous story, Rabbi Yitzchak. Him and his gabbai are walking in the street. They see a Jew in talis and tefillin schmiering the reder, greasing the wagon wheels. Today you would say changing a flat tire. Those days you grease the wagon wheels. This guy's in talis and tefillin, and he's greasing the wagon wheels, the balagula. So the gabbai says, In middle of davening, this guy is changing a flat tire? What a lowlife. So Levi Yitzchak chas v'shalom. What kind of tzaddik? Even when he's changing a flat tire, he doesn't stop davening. Rabbinish, that's the way you're supposed to look at it. You see that? What a tzaddik, even when he's changing a flat tire, he doesn't stop davening talis and tefillin. Alfie, how do you look at it? Hashem wants us to see only the good in somebody else, and then He'll see the good in us, because we know God judges us what? Midah keneged midah. If you look for the good in someone else, God will look for the good in us. You don't do Him a favor. Who are you doing a favor?
Yourself.
Yourself. The way you judge others, Gemara and Shabbos, is the way Hashem judges us. So let's have that in mind. Any questions or comments? So therefore, I can be a Shabbos guy, early Shabbos guy. Husband and wife can make their own Shabbos. Do your own thing, right? Can we all get along, right?
That's important.
You have to.
That's important too.
Right? This guy came for advice, Shalom Bayis. What's the best thing with Shalom Bayis? Here's the best thing with Shalom Bayis. Think Rav Pam said this. Roll up your sleeve and help your wife do the dishes. He said, do a segula for Shalom Bayis. Says, take out the garbage and help your wife clean the dishes and vacuum. That's the best segula for Shalom. He's looking for a way for Shalom Bayis. Help your wife is the best Shalom Bayis.
He does it.
Rav Pam. That's what he said. Roll up your sleeves and help her do the dishes.
For more of Rabbi Sprecher's teachings, visit rabbisprecher.com.